looking at Fire TV and
Mm-hmm.
advertising my skill on Fire TV, because that's already got the
Oh,
built-in Alexa
yeah.
device, and then you've got the visual impression there. So what are your
Mm-hmm.
thoughts around advertising on Fire TV, the skills?
Interesting. I'll say that's one I don't know too well, but I'll say that I know that I've seen a very weird way of advertising on. So I guess like I think it could be a really good resource, but the way that I've seen people advertise to get people to activate on Fire TV is actually on like on I've seen it on Instagram a little bit and on YouTube where they'll say something like, you can activate this skill from your Alexa device or your Fire TV, which I think having that both mentioned in the same context for some sort of skill or experience is actually a really good way to do it. Now, like I said, I can't say personally, I don't know what the like activation process looks like for like a direct to Fire TV advertising pipeline. But what
Mm.
I've seen people do in terms of just getting creative and considering all the options is just through like just at the end of the ad, right? Some sort of ad, or just through like some sort of static image. It'll just mention Fire TV as well, have like the Fire TV logo or something after Alexa devices. And that I'm assuming that does pretty well. But I will be honest, I have not heard a lot of people do it. I think it's a very creative idea, and I think it'd be a really good activation channel just for like you said, it has touch points that are just align very well with how people interact with their other experiences.
Yeah, and is it like in your community? Do you know if many of your community have uptaked the Fire TV, like through America,
Ah,
or you don't know, or nobody talks about
I've
it, or I don't know.
I've only heard it, like I said, like as like I've heard people talk about it at events and conferences and communities that have been part of as like potential. But I
Mm,
actually don't know I don't know what those numbers look like, unfortunately. It's yeah, it's interesting. Like I feel like I've heard people bring it up as like an idea, as like a conceptual thing, right? Like can we do like, just there's Fire TV, and I think there might even be other TVs now that have Alexa support too. And all I've seen in terms of a marketing perspective is just like, having a way on the website, right, to indicate that you can activate it via voice or something like that,
mm.
on some of those other devices as well.
Yeah. Well, why I like it is because if I'm advertising on Fire TV, I know for
Right.
one, the customer has Alexa set up,
Yes.
which is brilliant,
Yes.
because when I get my girls to do the Alexa
Hmm.
Where is My Period 28-day challenge, most of the
Hmm.
girls don't even have an Alexa device. So I'm using Alexa through the mobile app. So
Sure.
that's how they get Alexa. So that's why I really like it.
Mm.
That customer is that's a tick right there. And then the other thing
Yeah.
is like,
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you can do this, but I'm sure this is where it's headed, or
Hmm.
it is already in existence. But so
Hmm.
with mine, because it's women, like imagine if it's a romantic comedy, then I'm putting my ad behind all of those TV shows or movies or whatever. So that's
Oh,
another reason
sure.
why I like it. So
Yeah.
targeting the demographics to what they're actually watching.
Hmm.
Mm,
I
yeah.
think holistically it makes a lot of sense. Like I said, I think there's like I haven't seen enough evidence of just like or I haven't seen enough process around how to optimize around it. It's like I can't speak to any tips or tricks or hacks, right, on how to utilize that capability. But I think you're right on the spot with that. I think there's definitely a big opportunity, and it's hopefully something that could develop in the near future, or something that Amazon can help push as well from
Yeah.
their side.
Yeah. Yeah, cool. And I wanted to talk to you about Amazon shopping actions. It's finally here. I've been thinking
Yes.
about this
Yes.
for probably over 2 years. Know that one day
Yeah.
it will eventually come. You don't know how many Amazon employees I contacted going, can you do
Wow.
this? Can you do this?
Yeah.
No response, no response, no response. And
Mhm.
it's finally here where we finally
Mhm.
see voice integrated into products. So
Yes.
what's your thoughts on the future going forward of this?
Oh, well, I think like Alexa everything is going to keep being sort of the motto with Amazon. I think in terms of just like the amount of devices and where they're available, I think what's going to be intriguing to see is how much they're going to leave like there there's going to be a lot of opportunity, I think, for continue, and even now, right, you can use a lot of what Alexa offers or what Amazon offers through their software and through their integrations to, literally put Alexa in, even in your own devices, right, and into different things that people have. And I've seen like toy companies try it. I've seen there's so many different ways you can utilize it, right? Or at least they're like piloting different programs. So I think what's important to keep in mind, or something that I think will be important, at least for companies and people who are building these products, is just to be mindful of Amazon's progress and their development and their restrictions, right? I think the one thing that's going to be, particularly interesting is just seeing, will they, I don't suspect they'll lock things up too hard, but, I know Facebook has been a company that's notoriously opened up a lot of things and, unfortunately pulled it all back, right? There were companies that were gone overnight, right? In terms of like chat, or they just had to remove features from their chatbot platforms, right? And so the thing I'd hate to see is, people go down the same path with like Alexa or Home, where they build really good, products or businesses around the Alexa capabilities, only to have like, not keeping track enough and unfortunately losing different features and different things that they're going after because of Alexa's or because of Amazon's, new restrictions or something like that. So I think I foresee a very good future, but I'm very curious, to what extent, people need to be mindful of Amazon's, iron grip on how people are using their platform from an outside perspective or inside perspective. So yeah, I think that's, it's great to have shopping actions out. I've seen a lot of other amazing things roll out with Alexa lately. And then the new generations look, like I said, I've heard pilots in the fog here and there. Like there's words of, different partnerships with different companies. And I'm curious if more people can do that, but, to what extent and to what, flexibility is still, in question, I guess, a little bit, and something to keep track of in the future.
Yeah. Well, I've always had this, like, I've always knew that this was coming. So I've really built my conversation to be able to incorporate this one day when it comes. So as an example, I see my skill as an influencer, as a virtual influencer, because she's going to be able to be a companion to the user that's using her, but then also because it's around a woman's cycle, and at different times there's really good times to recommend products. So as an example, in a PMS phase, it's a really good time for maybe recommend chocolates, So that's where I can really strategically put in Lindt chocolates. Would you like me to add some Lindt chocolates to your shopping basket? And it goes in really smoothly. So I've really set my voice, the conversation design up, knowing that this is coming and knowing how it's going to easily slot in. What do you think about other skills becoming like voice influencers? Do you see that in the future?
I love that idea, right? And I think, and you just made a great point there too, with I would love to have an Alexa device do that kind of like shopping action for me, right? I think that is like the best case scenario. I think there's very interesting ways that it could bring, what I need just in time, but not just being, Alexa's thing. It's through another experience that connects through. So I think in terms of it's influencers to me, and it's almost like Alexa skills can be tastemakers and curators, right? Where they can help you find items and different things that, you see based on like the context, right? For you, it's around the cycle, right? I guess. And then, for others, it could be around automobiles or, different things like that, like accessories for that. It could be a million things. And I think that's definitely the future. I think there's a ton of opportunity there. And I think there's, like I said, as long as Amazon continues to leave it open enough for people, it's going to be great. And as long as they don't have a bunch of restrictions going in. I'll say as well really quickly, to offer some insight, is I was just tracking that they're going to be trying to let developers get a little bit more on the Echo Show as well. Like you'll be able to do more with that in the near future as well. So I'm curious what that means for sort of apps like yours, right? Where you can, some of it is just an audio experience, and some of it can, also be audio visual, right? And different activations. So I can see it being great for that.
At the moment, it's just parked there, the Echo Show, and I have so many creative ideas on the visuals and everything, but my customer base, whenever they don't have the Echo Show. So
gotcha.
Yeah. So at the moment, it's no, it's just parked there, and sorry, but anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm just thinking, did I have anything else?
It would be great if they had that adoption, though. I will say that. I love the Echo Show. I think it's a great concept, but yeah, they're definitely not seeing that.
But you still don't have one. I know you
Nope.
don't have one.
Nope, I do not. I don't. I love the idea. I love the idea of what it can do, but I don't have the motivation to buy it. That's how I'll put it. I've even
Yeah,
developed apps for it, and then just
yeah,
use like an emulator or a test for it, and then it's like, all right, cool. Now I know it works for that.
yeah.
But no, not even my own. Yeah, yeah. I have to admit.
Yeah. Okay, and I've just got one last marketing question. So it's all about around making the Alexa user the hero of the story. So I
Mhm,
take on Donald Miller's story brand marketing framework, where
mm,
where I have my Alexa user the hero of the story. And I do that through the 28-day challenge. She gets a forecast from Alexa, where is my period, every
mhm,
day for 28 days. She then has to do a video diary every day and post on social media. And what
mhm,
I'm bringing to the table is personal stories and
mhm,
emotional connection,
mhm.
especially to brands that are commodity products. So at the moment, I'm sponsored by PSafe India. They're a menstrual
Oh, nice.
hygiene brand, just like
Mhm,
Tampax in America.
sure.
But their problem is they're commodities, and they have to find creative ways to create emotional connection and
Mhm,
make the hero of the story the customer, not the
mhm,
brand, and not my skill, Alexa, where is my period.
sure.
And so if we take another example, not in the voice community, let's say GoPro. So GoPro have done a
Mhm,
brilliant job because they've got a brilliant product,
mhm,
um,
mhm,
but then they created the customer as the hero of the story. It's all about them. It's all about them going out in the world, documenting their
mhm,
life,
mhm,
being on, having so many experiences, sharing their experiences with the world, and then like remembering, those amazing moments. So that
mhm.
they really created that. So how do you have any idea that how skills can move into that, where they create the customer, the Alexa skill user, as the hero of the story?
Mhm.
Mm.
Yeah, that I love that like idea. And I think with mobile apps, they're still trying to figure it out. It's an interesting evolution, but and chatbots, I don't think ever really. I never felt like there was anyone focusing on that, but voice seems like it could. Because
Mm.
you can especially with products that or with skills that you have to use over an extended period of time, there should be a feeling of accomplishment, I think. Chatbots are very passive. Voice feels like it's a little bit more, it's just more involved, right? You have to talk to it, you have to trust it in some ways, right? So for me, I mean, I think the idea is great, and I think it can definitely happen. I think what's key here is a couple things for me. I think one is when you're bringing them on, whether they find a skill on a website or whether they find the skill on some sort of touch point, it needs to be that there's a brand around the skill. Depending, I mean, not all skills need brands. Maybe like the to-do list thing might, there are plenty of them, and they might not all need their own Instagram pages or Twitter accounts. But for something that needs a story, I think it's about distribution, and
Mhm.
then it's also, but the Alexa, experience is the thing that centralizes it, right? And then maybe Alexa can say, if you go on Twitter, you can see more stories, right? And you can also see, you could get your own featured, right? And I think that's a very, with influencers, actually going back to that topic, because I've studied a little bit of that world too. I mean, the people that get featured by an influencer, if an influencer retweets them, if an influencer posts their picture on their profile or whatever, this is a big event, right? This is people's, like, they'll pin that tweet to the top of their whatever Twitter account if they can. They'll share that with all their friends. Like, it'll be a big deal. And this could be one of those same things as well, where it's like almost like this brand isn't just a faceless Alexa skill.
Mm.
It's an experience that you're living with other people. It's something that you really, and I think that makes people feel like heroes, at least in their own worlds, to their own communities, to their families and friends. People that mean close to them, especially if it is like a health related skill. I think that's it's empowering, right? I think there's so many ways you can take that feeling, and you can have Alexa sort of push that for just so people feel proud of what they do. And then, yeah, I guess you're getting to the point where you're just I'm making sure I'll clarify with you first, but you are saying that there's, there's ways that you want them to make, feel like the hero definitely in public, right? In some way or another.
Oh, no, not definitely in public. Doesn't have to be in
Okay,
public, but
just in
yeah,
general.
yeah, just in general. Yeah. But I think
Gotcha.
it also comes back to what kind of skill did you design?
Yeah.
Is it a utility skill, or did you design like more of on the companion side,
Right.
Yeah. So I think that's
Buildings. Oh, go ahead.
I just think that's an important distinction to have as well. Which side
Yeah.
are you on? Yeah.
I wonder if it's like one thing that I've seen work for Alexa Skills really well is even if it isn't like people feeling like the hero by having their stuff needing to be posted or having to be accountable for it being public. I think having really good, like, strong testimonials that like fit this brand, and that, and then also just like that consistent encouragement in some way or another by sharing real life stories, maybe without even sharing names, but just, putting how people have been impacted by the skill. That's what I've really seen work. I think that's just in general great product building and great product marketing. But I think for Alexa Skills in particular, there's just a strong lack of, I have some amazing skills, but I don't know. I would love to see people actually using them and actually, leaving reviews and talking about them, right? But like real people, like not just, whatever, like it's crazy. There'll be skills with, 500,000 installations and one review. Like that does not look great. No Twitter account, no support email, no place to make it feel like there's, there's something around this app. And I think people are empowered obviously by the utility, but I think definitely also by the brand behind it. And I'm pushing for that to be, if the skill is right, if it's not just like a calculator or something like that, then it should have that. Cause I think that's how skills could, really even be their own like company, right? Or they could be a really good part of a suite of products to under a single company that promotes all of them and can really build a brand around each one. So yeah, just my perspective around that.
Yeah. And moving on to like the companion side, and jumping a step further, have you seen Westworld at all?
Yes.
Yes. Did you watch season 3 at all?
No, I've only seen season 1 and 2, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well,
I've been meaning to get back to it.
Yeah, it's a good show. But in season 3, the main character Caleb has a voice assistant, but slash coach slash psychologist, and you actually see the voice assistant actively calling Caleb because he's got PTSD and trying to help him get through the day.
Oh, sure.
So I really I was just like saw that scene, was just like, oh yeah, that's gonna be next. So Twilio, I think, actually does it at the moment. But do you see that as something coming in the future? Because I would love it for my skill. It is a parked idea because at the moment, every day the girls have to go on their app, talk to Alexa, and it's reactive. Whereas if Alexa called them every day, it would take that friction out, and it would just be. I just can see how easy the process would be for them over the 28 days. Yeah. So
genius idea. I'll say that if I could, for this use case, that could be so powerful. And considering, Alexa has that, I guess I don't know how it is if it's on the phone, right? But I know on the devices, obviously you can get calls and do different kinds of things with that, leave voicemails and all of that. I think that utility, if there's a way to do it, I haven't seen any skills really utilized. I don't even know if you can at the moment, but if there's some way that a skill could utilize it.
Twilio.
Yeah, but Twilio can do that.
Yeah, possibly.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Then it makes perfect sense. And I think that's definitely a good angle. I think it's definitely something that I think it'd be more on the for the companion side, it's there's reminders, right, which are the more passive, and then there's this calling, which means that means it's a call to action. And that's what I wonder is people lead busy lives these days. There's so much distraction, so much stimuli at every single second, and so I think that's just more important with having your skill really stand out to people, is that it needs to be able to they need to be able to want to take that call, right, or have it if it's at a certain time every day. it's easy to try to have that be consistent, but sometimes it won't be, right? And what
Yeah.
happens if they miss it? Will it call back? Will it? There's a lot of things I could consider, but I think for the right cases, it's a really good idea. And then otherwise, I've just seen people get creative with notifications, right? That's another way that you can do things too, or text messages, that too. I've seen some people connect, Alexa to Twilio to do that in particular.
Okay.
And I think that could be pretty cool. And again, that's not as accountable perhaps, but it is something that, if people are not annoyed, if it is a skill that they love to use, if it's something that they really need to be consistent about, I can see those communication channels being very effective.
So can I set that up on my skill where it would, I don't know how to, that it would
I
send
believe you can.
notification to one customer that's using the skill at this time to say, hey, did you talk to Alexa today? Like, can I?
Right.
I don't know. Can I do that on the back end? I don't know.
There should be a way to do it. I've definitely seen it. I don't remember the exact implementation because they didn't really show me under the hood. They just showed me that there was, but it was essentially like Alexa allows you to access like the profiles from a backend standpoint of the people using it. And I think if you can isolate those profiles, I think they have to like give you their phone number is the only issue.
Okay.
I think there's some consent with that, some like some law literally around the world about not being able to just take that from their Alexa app or something like that.
Sure.
But if they do, I believe there's actually a pretty direct way you can then capture that profile, isolate that phone number that they entered, and then do text. Otherwise, I could just see a way for Alexa to this could be interesting. It could like tell them to text a number and then it starts a sequence, or tells them to visit a website or something, and then they could sign up there. So yeah, it's like a little more complicated than I'd want, but I think there's definitely a way to do it a little bit more directly too, as long as their phone number has been like entered in the way that Amazon likes it. Into like some way to ask it, in the app, I think. So
okay. Yeah, that might be something to explore in the meantime. Yeah, that was cool. Yeah. Thanks. And
no problem.
One last question is about RFID. So I think this will eventually happen where products are connected to RFID. So I'll give you an example with my skills. So just say Tampax has branding of Alexa, where's my period on their packaging. A girl brings it home. She's all connected to Alexa. She opens the product, and it's RFID, and it triggers Alexa. So Alexa's going to say, oh, hi, lovely. You may have your first day of your menstrual cycle. It's a full moon now. Can I give you a forecast? So she starts talking from the trigger of the RFID. Have you heard anything in that space, or do you see that coming forward? Or because I've got so many examples that I could give you about how it could work with products and trigger Alexa, and she starts really like having conversations with you.
So I've seen it in call it like the most roundabout ways per se. It's where people like set up these crazy like back end systems that connect to like sensors, just like it's video or audio or something like that. I know people working on things like that, and they'll like through some very hacky ways they can get Alexa to react to like if something flies across like in front of a camera. Like I know someone who did something for like nature and things like that. I think it can it can hit a trigger, and I've heard of some other people or like security. I know there's been some people that have tried that. That's interesting. Like, I think there's a lot of opportunity. I don't know if it actually like exists. Like, I've never heard of anyone use RFID to trigger Alexa like that from a product perspective. I think, unfortunately, like in my mind, the people that will not like it is Amazon itself.
I think if they would sell more products, they would definitely sell more products.
I think so too. I just wonder how quickly they would give the keys to the kingdom to like developers. That's the thing that always. That's what I meant. Yeah. So I think they'll totally do it. I'm just curious at what stage. Like I can't even guess when they're going to be like, okay, this is ready for like any product to use. Because I just like even with like Amazon Auto or whatever, like the Alexa Auto stuff. Like I know there were all these partnerships that didn't go through just because Alexa wasn't giving enough, or Amazon wasn't giving Alexa to enough people in its ROS form. They had all these controls and all these blockers in the back end that you couldn't get over, and then you just couldn't build the product you wanted to build. So I would love to see it. Would definitely sell more products. I'm just like, yeah, it's back to kind of what I said
earlier. Also
earlier.
give a bigger landscape. So if you imagine
Oh, definitely.
Like with Alexa sitting in the lounge room, and like she captures like this wide area. So another developer, Harry Verity on LinkedIn, he's developed Alexa Tell Me a Tea Time Story, and he's got this in the back of his mind where every tea bag, if it had RFID, triggers Alexa and tells a scene of a story as you get your tea ready for 3 minutes.
Right.
Yeah. So, and then another example would be, imagine if a kid had got their school bag, and you've actually somehow put this into Alexa. Every product has RFID on it. So Alexa knows that the school bag has to have the lunchbox, the jumper, and the hat, as an example. And then as you're walking out the door, you can say, Alexa, is my bag packed? And she somehow it knows and says, no, you forgot your lunchbox. So she's really like working with every single product in your house and becoming an amazing companion to your life, and really helping you as you go about your day.
Yeah. I think we're definitely in like the early, like I just like I feel like someone has actually done it, but I'm curious to what extent they've done. Like I feel like now I have heard somebody talk about like a toy company or something like that do RFID in Alexa.
Yeah,
and I can't.
That would be a great example there, right there. Yeah.
Yeah, I just wonder how much, like what that means. Is that something where you have to like, do you still have to do something in the Alexa app to trigger it, or is it automatic? Right. That's what I'm trying to remember, is if it had like, because I feel like all the, like I've seen people break their Alexas open and stuff, right? To try RFID sensor, like, or just general sensor type stuff. And it really means like you're like jailbreaking your Alexa, right? So that's what I've seen. I've seen that more on like a development standpoint. It does not look easy at all. Like I said, if Amazon has confidence to partner with the right partners and have the right developers or skilled developers come to them and appeal and work with them, I mean, I think it could be incredible. You're definitely selling more products. You're building deeper connections into the world of smart cities, smart homes, everything like that. I'm all for it. Security concerns are always going to be up there, but I'll say in an optimistic future where no one is trying to hack your RFID systems or Alexas to do malicious things, what you're saying sounds incredible, and I'm definitely all for the solution. But I wish I knew more about what that looked like in terms of a timeline, because I can't say I've seen Alexa talk about it, or the Alexa team talk about it, but certainly feel like I've heard something, at least in the early stages, talked about before.
Yeah.
So,
well, we're thinking about it. We've seen it in sci-fi. It's coming soon.
Hell yeah. No, I'm all for it. I'm all for it.
Yeah. Cool. Well, that was all. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Well, your building's amazing. So I got to give you credit, and hearing more about it today, like that just like, that was inspiring me to answer the questions. I definitely, I like how you sort of gave me that context, or what you were thinking about for the company. And it's way more exciting than a lot of skilled developers I talk to. I will say that, like, with complete honesty. I wish there were more people thinking like you. I wish I had more conversations like this. But FireTV, just like, it doesn't come up, and it's such a bummer, because I think there are so many other touch points people can hit that are relevant to a context, right? Like you're watching TV, or you're trying to access Alexa in a different way. And even Alexa doesn't do a great job of their marketing is really focused on just home, and just focused on like that whatever, you're at the kitchen looking for recipes, or you're in your bedroom asking it for the weather, right? It never gets much more complicated than that. And I wish they would. I mean, why not talk about women's wellness? I mean, I think that there's no issue there, and having more highlight on lifestyle products that are integrated with it. So I'm all for this. I'd love to help in any way. I'll definitely think of people in my network, and if you need any other insights, I'm more than happy to jump back on a call and offer anything I know or anything I hear about. So,
great.
Happy to help.
Thank you
My
so
honor.
much. Thank you.
Yeah.